yes, I love yoga that allows you to really be structured and you're just following the teacher. However, there's an important component when you're building your own daily habits and you're building on those habits. It's not necessarily the case that you're going to be in a situation where you're like, oh, my legs feel so tired, I feel so tired, my hips are sore, my hips are really tight, and that you're going to be like, what was that pose again? The concept of being able to feel something in your body and really lean into the possibilities of all the different shapes that it can take enhances and empowers you to then do the movement. And the goal of daily habits is to do the movement because it's easy, because you don't have to be recalling or using the mind or asking someone, what was that pose? It's there. And to be perfectly honest, it's the biggest part that I teach is to continuously trust the there. It's there for you. Trust that. And so just when you're coming into that, let that settle a little bit. You know, how do daily habits, how does it, when life is really functioning and flowing in free flow, usually we're just doing, we're not having to think so much. Our cerebral isn't in the driver's seat, so to speak. It's our emotions, it's just a feeling of being able to be in the moment and not have to control anything. And again, not that control is bad in a certain way, but in this particular way or statement that I'm going to be expressing, especially when it comes to hips, is I think sometimes the amount of control that we feel we need to have is much, it's not doing us the benefit. To be able to control and to make sure there's a safe space, to being able to control and make sure that we're aware of our own emotions and our own actions, yes, beautiful. But to control every single aspect of our world is a lot. It's a lot on the cerebral, a lot on that heavy expectation in the shoulders. And it can tend to breed a little bit of insecurity and fear of not having enough, or fear or scarcity mindset. And fear and scarcity and not feeling solid in your life is all to do with our emotional components, and our, you know, where we hold those emotions in our physical body happens to be in the hips. So it's kind of where we're working into, hence why I'm wanting to kind of communicate a little bit more about this area. As we sit back onto, and again, you could keep on doing that movement, but as you sit back onto your heels, if this doesn't feel comfortable for you, then another option that you can do is simply to bring the feet a little bit wider apart and allow your body to sit down in between. Or you can allow those feet to come directly out in front of you, again, coming into just a sitting position. Okay, I'm going to choose to bring myself into a sitting position, and again, I'm finding that connection point where my sit bones, those beautiful bones that allow my spine to actually stack themselves appropriately, onto my heels. And as I sit on those heels, elongate the spine, allow the shoulders to draw back, and again, we're just kind of warming up through the abdomen, the core, the entire core body, side body, lower back, the spine. With this one, we're just allowing those Sufi grinds to kind of guide us. So we have a solid point with our legs. Our quads are getting a little bit of a stretch here. Hands can be nice and firm on the quads and actually gripping hold of the legs as we go through the Sufi grinds. Or another piece that I love to kind of create in this one is the hands can actually be behind you in an interlaced, nice tight grip, which is one that we've done before, the chest expander. And you draw those hands behind, and then as you go through the Sufi grinds, you might go a little slower, but it's just another way of feeling this movement. And you can go about 5 or 6 times in one direction, and again, another option here is 5 or 6 times in the other direction. There is breathing, but for this morning or for right now, I just want you to just feel the movement. And again, you might find or notice that you go forward way more than you go back, and there's no right or wrong. I just want you to be mindful. And then as you come back